Monday, November 10th, and this is our regular session. If we could all please rise, Councilman Vernal will have our invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings you have given us, for our family, for our friends, for our country, and for our city. We ask your continued grace and guidance as we meet here this evening. Keep us ever mindful of the trust that has been placed in us by our fellow citizens. We ask your care and protection of those who serve us and protect us both here and abroad, especially those who may be in harm's way. And we ask your loving comfort to the families who may be separated during this holiday season because of the service of their loved ones. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for the citizens at home, we're going to do a special presentation this evening. That special presentation will be basically going back through a speech I gave just the other night, which was on the state of the city of Poquoson. We wanted to do this for a couple reasons. The state of the city presentation that we gave the other night was at the invitation of the Chamber of Commerce. And as such, it was basically a Chamber of Commerce event. But when I talk about the city of Poquoson, I want to make sure that the people at home understand that I think about them first. I think the speech, you'll recognize that I think about the city of Poquoson first. So with that said, I'd like to just briefly go back through that State of the City address. Not too long, but it's an easy story to tell on the city of Poquoson, because I think that we are among the top cities in the state of Virginia, if not the nation. So we started out the other night, and I said on behalf of the city of Poquoson and city council, we welcome you to the first time that the city has been told by the city of Poquoson, and to allow us to tell our citizens where we are as a city. For those of you that had the opportunity to attend the State of the City series, you know that each community has many things of which it is proud. The story of Poquoson is one of community. It is also one of partnership. The state of the city of Poquoson is excellent financially, special in terms of community, outstanding in terms of facilities, unique in service to our citizens. And in a few minutes, I'd like to show you why. The past several years have been an exciting time in Poquoson. The City Council and I, along with the citizens of Poquoson and the city staff, have continued to build upon the strong foundations that have been a cornerstone of community excellence in Poquoson. We've been a city since 1975. We've embraced recently our own style of economic development. We have found our voice on the peninsula and in the region, yet we have remained steadfast and not lost sight of who we are and what the city of Poquoson brings to the region. Tonight, I recognize that I was among people who drove our economy both in the city and within the region. People who are developing and building something new, making something better, operating their own business, entrepreneurs, business leaders, people in a nutshell who understand taking risks and creating value. So the message tonight is a real focus on 4 areas. First is the city of Poquoson provides the best of what a city can offer. The second is that the city of Poquoson does what it says it will do. And because of those attributes, there are increasing opportunities for business, development, and redevelopment within Poquoson. And finally, that the city of Poquoson recognizes that our real strength is as part of a region, not as an individual city. We're all better when we team. As most of you know, Poquoson is unique. and we think a little differently here. We certainly govern a little bit differently here. As local government leaders, we have a special relationship with our citizens and see ourselves as partners in mutual success. In fact, last year, the Daily Press editorialized that when it comes to city-community relations and collaboration, Poquoson is in many respects a shining example of how to do it right. Poquoson has character, and as a city with character, we know who we are and what is important to us. So, what does providing the best a city can offer mean to the citizen? We simply say, we wrap it up in Poquoson is the place to live. In Poquoson, our priorities have always been about public safety, high-quality education, neighbors, and excellent public service. How do we know that we're good at delivering on those promises? In the recent years, we've been voted the safest community in Virginia by Movoto Real Estate, and that was in 2014. We've become one of the top 10 small towns for mobile entrepreneurs. We were voted the best affordable suburb in Virginia by Bloomberg Business Week, and affordable suburb by CNBC, and then the top 10 perfect suburbs in America by CNBC in 2011. As well, Poquoson City's public schools boast, as we all know, impressive standards. A 96.4% on-time graduation rate, one of 22 divisions in the state that has all schools fully accredited, 91% of its students attending college or university, and this same class that had that high college or university acceptance rate also earned 239 industry certifications for recognized industry, trade, or professional organizations. We are recognized as a highly distinguished Title I school division and received the Board of Excellence Distinguished Achievement Award. I think it's important that everybody knows that the City of Poquoson did not go out looking for those awards. We basically continue to do, and I think the city manager put it well the other night when he said we just continue to focus on what we do, and we are recognized from those outside. The City of Poquoson doesn't go out and look and put its name in for these type of recognitions. They actually come to us, and normally we're as surprised as everyone else. So how do we continue to build upon and reinforce that quality of life? I think we all recognize that we live in a special community, and it starts with our citizens. Our government is effective because of our citizens. It is not the other way around. You see, what I'm going to say this evening is not about what we have done, but instead what we have done together. We recognize, facilitate, and celebrate the fact that our citizens, our businesses, our civic organizations work together as a team. We are a close-knit community, and we care about the quality of life of our citizens. Our citizens care about core values. We still respect moral values, and we pray. We celebrate our veterans. We respect and honor our heritage. We have nearly 50 civic organizations and religious organizations in a city of only 4,100 homes. Probably what most people don't recognize is that we have 400 home businesses in those 4,100 homes, or about 10% of our citizens are also operating a home business. We care about education. And we know that the key to a good education is first and foremost parental involvement. And I was clear to say that use a different word. It's kind of a key word of today's mantra is engagement. Our citizens are engaged in their children's education. You've seen an unwavering city investment in the face of a steady decline in state financial support for education. and and they continue to be a continuous and paramount community priority. Simply said, we invest in what is important to us, and education is an investment. So that's what being the best a city can offer is about. The city of Poquoson does what it says it will do. We basically wrap that up to Poquoson is the place to work. We understand that small government is efficient and faster. It promotes economic opportunity for our citizens as well as those who want to do business in the city. We also recognize that home values are part of economic development. A home is your #1 investment as a city. It's not just about having the ability to do business here. It is about how the city is perceived, which leads directly to the home values that we all enjoy. So again, we do things a little bit differently. One of the things that we have focused on recently, everybody sees the ribbon cuttings and the like. What they didn't see is that for the last 2 to 3 years, we've actually held a series of realtors events, both for commercial and for residential realtors, that show that basically tell the story of Poquoson and show and teach them how to tell our story to their customers. The other thing about government, small government, is access and speed and decision making. We're small. You can get in the mayor's office with just a single phone call. You can get in the city manager's office by walking through the door. We can see you, we can talk to you, and we can collaborate and we can listen. But what comes out of that is much faster decision making. Let me tell you the story of our progress over the last 3 years as we started down this road. We came from a city of no bond rating to standing up a bond rating to AA+ in our first try, and then improving on that bond rating in the last year to become the smallest city or county in the state of Virginia with a AAA bond rating. That's an incredible achievement, and I can tell you, sharing the experience that I've had from HR TAC, that the state of Virginia is a AA+. We did that because we recognize a few things. We have the capacity to pay. We have a strong market area. We have outstanding fiscal management. We have a very balanced budget. We're also adaptive at our planning and our resiliency in coming back from problems. It would impress many citizens to know that though we deal with storm events, that we are actually a FEMA model community, and that we have had in place a risk mitigation plan since 2002 that has been nationally recognized. And we have acted on that plan in the building of the elementary school, the new fire station. All of those things came out of the risk mitigation strategy. So we basically do a good job in planning and then following through. We have outstanding public outreach in this area. We've teamed with NASA, and I would invite any citizen to come down and see the modeling tool that we use to determine when floodwaters are here, what the impact is to their particular situation. And we have an outstanding emergency management team. One of the things that I am proudest of on our fire trucks and our fire equipment is the term career and volunteer working together. Nothing makes me prouder than to realize that we all depend on each other. In the world of transportation, of which I'm learning a lot in the HR TAC, we are well ahead of our neighbors. The Wythe Creek Road widening, probably due to break ground in 2018. Victory Boulevard widening, we're working now with York County, Hampton, and with Newport News' endorsements. I will tell you and council that the Secretary of Transportation reminded me today that he received his letter and that he is coming to visit us to talk about those two projects. We did Big Woods development, and we did it a little bit different. We basically did an inclusive teaming atmosphere where we brought first the landowners in, and we did a story of education and what can the city do to help. We have basically formed teams with developers, the Army Corps of Engineers, because we know that the future of Poquoson depends on development in the Big Woods. And for the first time since I was a young boy, and everybody has talked about development in the Big Woods, we actually have one plan on the books and expect one to be turned in the very near future. When we talk about developing business down here, we have 50 new businesses in the last 3 years. We have come up with a strategy. Poquoson is the end of the road location. But we came up with a strategy focused on who we are and what we bring. We're a city of only 6 miles in width and 91 miles of shoreline. We have premier waterfront and unparalleled bay access. And a lot of people would say, well, Hampton shares the same thing, or York County shares the same thing. What they don't share is the public access. And the amount of ramps that we've got, the amount of infrastructure that we've put in on both the Poquoson River and Back River. And then our plan is, as people drive through the city, to develop opportunities along the way. Community relations staff and the Poquoson Business Alliance recently went up to New Kent, the rest stop up in New Kent. And seeing there, they put on a display of Poquoson for the Virginia Tourism Corporation. So we have teamed with Virginia Tourism. Now, a lot of people would say, well, I wonder why that seafood festival was probably a record crowd this year. Kind of put the two together, and I think you see the results of Poquoson telling its story. So that's what I mean when I say we know who we are, and more importantly, that we do what we say we'll do. Poquoson is the place to grow. There's opportunity here. So what should business leaders understand about Poquoson? Poquoson has a 3-mile trade ring that currently has a total retail sales gap of over $400 million. We have room to grow, and we have the room to redevelop, and we have the capacity to handle that growth. We're one of only a few cities in the state that is 100% sewer. We have water available and utilities available at every site. Poquoson has economic punch. We have a high per capita income, and we have a high educational standard for all of our citizens. And that brings you to the understanding that investors and business leaders in our region live here. We have been partners with the military bases since Plumtree Island was a training ground. Since NASA was NACA, Poquoson has been their place to live and grow. One thing that again, dealing with FEMA, that we are rated by FEMA on the community rating system as an 8. In Poquoson, a city that was devastated in 2001, homeowners actually get a 10% discount on flood insurance. Our goal is to raise that to a CRS 7, which is a 15% discount. Most cities do not have a CRS rating. This all adds up to the fact that there's opportunity to do business here. So simply put, Poquoson City Government does what it says it will do. It is our goal to enable our citizens to achieve financial gain, and we want to be an asset and not a barrier. That's what makes us different and provides opportunity. Lastly, the City of Poquoson recognizes that our real strength is as a region. And I repeated that at the State of the City, because we fear that others are competing against themselves in Hampton Roads. The Chamber of Commerce will be offering next year a State of the Region event, and I think that that is much better than a State of the individual city. I can tell you that in the battle for incentives, we are not going to fight our neighbors for business opportunities. We're going to support them for the good of the region. That does not mean that we're not going to tell our story and that we're not going to encourage business to be here. What it does mean is that I've watched for years the number of cities bidding against each other with government money to bring business to an individual city. Recently, we watched Richmond and Norfolk go at each other for a brewery. I just think that that's not the right effective use of government money. Poquoson did help lead the effort on transportation. I can tell you that Councilman Green was a key component of the effort to allocate $44 million in regional transportation funds to expedite the first phase of I-64. And that HR TAC is now taking on the last two sections of I-64. Our regional play has been exceptional. We've partnered with Langley and Fort Eustis, who are now a joint force, and we've teamed with NASA as well. And we've partnered with York County, Hampton, and Newport News to bring about the expansion of the two key roads serving the city of Poquoson. We actively participate in Hampton Roads Transportation Accountability Commission, the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission, and the Hampton Roads Metropolitan Planning Organization. And as most citizens know, but never put it all together, we are partners of regional cooperatives, including York County Court System, Regional Jail, York and Poquoson Social Services, the Hampton Steam Plant, and Animal Control, because together we bring more value to the citizens together. So I'm optimistic about the city of Poquoson and its future. But before I conclude my remarks, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't take a couple minutes and share with you what I think are the most significant challenges moving forward, or said another way, what keeps the mayor up at night. And what keeps the mayor up at night are the issues that we cannot locally control, yet impact our citizens the most. And I can tell you that the city of Poquoson does not shy away from hard discussion. The first is state support of our educational systems, public educational systems. First and foremost, we need help. We need more state support for K through 12 education. The graph that's on your screen now, the red line is state support of education, the green is the local contribution, and I should say the local and federal. We cannot continue to make up for lost ground between 2008 and 2012, doing it by ourselves. This is an issue of investment in the future. The state is our partner in education, and we need them to be a partner in education. The second would be unfunded mandates by Washington and Richmond. The number of unfunded federal and state mandates is at times overwhelming. We must look somehow to how to invert the triangle. And I use state cleaning the federal, the Chesapeake Bay as a key example. That's the way that the model is made up today. The EPA has about 17,000 employees in the federal level. The state and DEQ, to basically pass those same requirements down to us, have about 200 people. The city of Poquoson has one engineer who invokes all that. That is the model of what we're doing and the overlap that exists. And that is why we're investing money in talking about it and not doing anything about it. We need to invert that triangle so that the city of Poquoson actually puts the benefit out there that the dollars flow down from the federal government through the state to the ground where the actual change is made. Too much talk and not enough change. And finally, Poquoson, as is the case with all of our partners in Hampton Roads, is deeply concerned about the impact of recurring federal budget impasses on our local economy and, more importantly, on the military readiness of our country. At some point, government has to have hard decisions and hard discussion about what their core services of government are. I can tell you that the city of Poquoson has had that hard discussion back in 2008 when the economy turned, and we are at our core level of government. In each of these three areas, City Council and I will continue to work closely with the members of our federal and state delegations to seek common sense solutions to the problems confronting our nation and our Commonwealth, and to ensure the citizens of Poquoson have a voice in federal and state issues that affect us here in Hampton Roads. But we cannot do that alone, and we ask the citizens to make their representatives aware. So let me close tonight by saying thank you for all the success that we have had as a city together in the past, and that we look forward to much more success in the future. Thank you.
Very well done.
All right. So that, to follow up and close that out, that is exactly what I said the other night. And the speech is available for you, I think, online, so you can see the recorded notes or whatever. And that way, nobody was missed. And I appreciate the time and council listening to it yet again, because I know they listened to it the other night. All right, with that said, that closes out item C, and we'll move on to item D, which is audience for visitors. I ask if anyone in the audience would like to speak on any subject. What do you think, staff? Okay, we'll close the audience for visitors and ask for approval of the minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes of our regular meeting of October 27th, 2014.
Motion made and seconded that we approve those minutes. Judy, please.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Vernal.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Ayer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, in the work session?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes of the work session of October 27th, 2014.
Okay, motion made and seconded that we approve those also. Judy, please.
Councilman Ayer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Vernal.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, under new business, the first item this evening, and I'm reading off my unrevised agenda, is an ordinance adopting a revised flood ordinance. And I think, Randy, we left this last time with some inputs by council.
Yes, sir.
And if you could update us on what was done since the first reading.
Absolutely. What Mr. Somerset has provided for you is a synopsis of the questions that we had received either at that meeting or shortly thereafter, and I'll ask him to come up in a minute and summarize that. I would point out in your package, there is information at the back, both in regard to the federal management, FEMA's procedures regarding to participation in the flood insurance program, and also a few articles which Ken did summarize in the staff report pertaining to the relative cost of additional height in new construction and projecting insurance savings based on that decision. He did a lot of research to try to help answer some of your questions. So what I would ask, sir, is the opportunity to let Ken come up, summarize where we are, and then if it's all right with council, I would like to follow up on what Ken's got.
Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. Good evening, Mayor Hunt and members of council. I would like to follow up on the flood ordinance changes that we presented to you in a work session on September 22nd, 2014. As you're aware, the revised firm maps and ordinance presented for your consideration tonight are FEMA mandated and must be adopted to become effective by December 16th, 2014. Should that deadline not be met, the city would be in jeopardy of being placed on probation or being dropped from the NFIP program. Staff has been working with the proposed map for almost 2 years and have been working on the revised ordinance with the state for almost a year to make sure that we are in compliance with the state model. We have held several outreach meetings with citizens to inform them of the proposed changes. Since we received the initial proposed maps, we have placed them on the wall in the Community Development Hall for easy access by anyone wanting to see them, citizens, developers, etc. Staff has and will continue to work with citizens to address and assist them in flood-related issues, insurance questions, and developing a basic understanding of the flood program. During the September 22nd work session, staff presented a revised flood ordinance to City Council for review and discussion. Two prevailing elements of the discussion resulted in staff researching the issues further, which I would like to address now. First, we were unable to remove any references to the Limwa line from the ordinance. As we are a community rating system member, we must leave the lines on the maps and the reference language in the ordinance to avoid loss of our 10% flood insurance premium discount. Please keep in mind that the Limwa line is not an enforceable flood zone at this time unless you decide to take formal action to adopt it. Secondly, we are requesting to increase our current 1 foot of freeboard to a 3 foot minimum to the finished floor. This would help lessen repetitive loss claims for structural elements such as ductwork and insulation, those resulting in the allowing it to be a larger savings on flood premiums for citizens. And examples of those savings were provided in your agenda package. The only other change from the work session discussion is the addition of a definition for mechanical equipment, and that's located on page 29 of the ordinance in your agenda package. This definition was added to ensure that everyone understands that ductwork or any mechanical equipment servicing a structure must be at or above BFE as a minimum. And with that, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Mayor, if I could continue?
Yes.
Just a few other things. Council members, if you've had a chance to go in depth into some of the federal program language that they sent us as backup to their correspondence last week, which is also in your package, it did provide an answer to one of the questions that we were theorizing about last time we met on this. And the question was, what happens if we take things out of the ordinance that we don't like? And the answer to that is in the federal regulations. If you either fail to adopt or fail to adopt an adequate ordinance, they have the ability to immediately suspend Poquoson from participation in the National Flood Insurance Program until such time it's rectified. I think we were all operating under the assumption that they would kind of do that in reverse, point out any deficiencies and give us some time, but the regulations they sent us provide a clear answer as to what their authority is to suspend the community rather than simply send us a letter of deficiency.
And that's by federal determination, not that we think is adequate, but that they think is
That's correct. Your reminder, this ordinance must meet FEMA's requirements, and the changes that you see in it reflect FEMA's new changes. DCR, the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation, they are our gatekeeper to FEMA. They have reviewed this. We invited representatives from DCR to be here this evening. They were unable to attend. We invited them to send an alternate. They told us the alternates weren't able to attend. So, well, we can try to answer your questions. We can't speak for them. A couple of other things. One of the questions, Mr. Mayor, you asked me recently, and I apologize in advance to council members. I don't typically pass things out at the dais, but we were working on this as late as this afternoon, and Ken actually handed me this stack when we completed the work session, so I didn't have an opportunity to pass it to you. I want to commend him for working quickly to get this done, and I'm going to walk you through it because it looks complicated. It's actually really simple. But before I do that, one additional question that you asked, Mr. Mayor, was regarding if the council were to choose to go above the current 1-foot freeboard, would that have a negative impact on height as it pertains to new construction or substantial renovation construction? We don't believe that it would have any impact on new construction. However, it may with existing construction for a substantial renovation, and we will be working, assuming that you increase the freeboard, which is an assumption, we'll work with the city attorney to see if we can address that. However, in the short run, we have either a BZA process or a zoning administrative variance process that would facilitate any common sense decisions that would need to be made resulting from your choice, if you were to choose a freeboard above 1 foot. What this diagram, this is what you asked, and I don't know that there's any way we can project it, so I'll try to explain it as we go. You'd asked, Mr. Mayor, for clarification or some sort of aid that would help understand what we're really talking about. So we, with his permission, we used Dr. Vernal's property as our basis, recently elevated house. The property in question, the ground elevation is 4.5 feet. It's located in an AE zone, an AE8 zone. So that is the 100-year floodplain is 8. So, and you'll see it, and Ken's done a nice job of diagramming this. So the difference between the ground level and the base flood elevation of Dr. Vernal's property is 3.5 feet. Currently, your ordinance requires 1 foot of freeboard. So the 1 foot of freeboard makes it up to 4.5 feet above the ground elevation. The proposed 3-foot freeboard, you'll see that on the diagram as opposed to the 1, and that gets you up to an elevation approaching 11 feet if you were to take that. And as an informational note, when Dr. Vernal elevated his house, he chose to elevate it to 11.4. So essentially to the 3-foot standard. And what Ken has also tried to show you with number 9 is what it would look like with the ductwork underneath. We believe with new construction, that's the circle in the middle of the diagram. We believe in new construction, there are several methods that could be used to make sure that the ductwork is at or above the BFE level, what would be the 8 in this case. If there are instances with a substantial renovation where that's just not possible, that's what that zoning administrator waiver process is for, and or the BZA as a stopgap until such time that you may decide to amend the zoning ordinance for existing property that had height issues pursuant to and only stemming from this issue. I hope this is helpful. It confounded me the first time I read it, but then I slowed down and followed what Ken was actually trying to tell me, and it became clear. Did I get anything wrong, Ken?
No, sir.
Well,
Excellent.
then I'd credit you for a good drawing.
Very good. And Councilman Vernal, how do you feel about this?
Much better, let's put it that way. I've told several people if I flood now, everybody in town is going to be swimming.
All right. So I think I understand that now, and I appreciate the drawing, because the drawing's worth 1,000 words, and this answers my question, so thank you.
That's all I have, sir.
Any questions of council?
There's nothing that we can do about this other than approve it or lose our community rating. Is that correct?
Can I?
Please.
I believe that, well, you have the choice to decide whether or not to increase your freeboard requirement from 1 to 2 to 3. I would note that after 3, the insurance to cost ratio drops off pretty quick. So that is absolutely your choice. With regard to the rest of it, I think you have limited to no choice. My suggestion to you, with the exception of the freeboard, is to adopt this, and then following adoption and approval of conformity by FEMA, if the council then would like to advance back up through the chain, propose changes, we could do so without endangering the community's participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. Once FEMA said, yes, what you've approved is good. And you'll recall, we followed this process very similar last time we were required to update this ordinance. And it was more than a year later that FEMA came back and said, yes, we know you adopted exactly what we said you should, but we've changed our mind, and if you don't fix it real quick, we're going to throw you out of the National Flood Insurance Program. So we really do feel at the mercy of forces beyond our control and sometimes beyond our understanding. And the understanding is not for considerable effort to try to understand. It just seems that the sand underneath our feet is constantly shifting.
Well, I think it's a very good idea. I think raising, as much as you can is a great idea, and I think that's definitely a best management practice. But I just so resent the federal government cramming it down our throat. I'm going to vote for it, but I'm going to vote for it holding my nose.
That would be similar to a lot of things we end up voting for, or from the state or feds. Okay, I think the other thing council should be aware of is, I guess we're on a little bit of a timeline here. We need to have this done by by the December meeting. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
But I would like to, if we're going to approve it anyway, if in the motion, we could just go on the first reading and just not come back and visit this and spend that extra time at least letting staff know what parts we don't agree with and having us re-engage on those. So if you consider that in whatever motion you make. Okay, thanks. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Poquoson, Virginia by adopting a newly revised flood ordinance and dispense with the second reading.
Second. A motion made and seconded that we approve this ordinance change. And any questions or comments?
Yes.
Go ahead, Bud.
Probably the same question. Are we approving it with the proposed 3-foot? Yes, okay.
Yeah, that's
That was
what's
part of the
in there.
motion. Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to note that I share the same sentiments as Vice Mayor Freeman and your comments, Mr. Mayor. And we just had a change in government a lot, and we need to get together with our representatives and let them know the impacts these kind of things are having on us, and let them get to work making some changes in the federal agencies. So we need to talk to our representatives as a city, okay? And the citizens need to do it as individuals.
I agree. Anything else? All right, I can tell council that we are going to be meeting with our representative about a completely different idea about wildlife refuge management, and we'll be meeting with them in the coming weeks, and we can certainly have that discussion if we have those items. Okay, and welcome any member of council to join me in that discussion, and we can advertise it if we all want to be there. All right. With that, we have a motion made and seconded, and no more questions or comments. So Judy, please.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Ayer. Aye. Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Vernal.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you very much, council. And next is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Image Trend for records management for the fire department. I knew they were here for a reason.
They are here for a reason. Normally this is the kind of thing I would be tempted to just briefly summarize for you, but I think that for your benefit and for the citizens' benefit, calling up Chief Holloway or Battalion Chief Young, whichever Robert would like to delegate, be helpful as they come up. One of the ways that we do what we do as a city staff with the resources we have is we're constantly looking for a way to use those resources better. And what they found, and I'll let them talk about it, is a way that will cost us no more money operationally, in partnership with our volunteers, and really help to make that possible, serving both. And the direct beneficiary is the people we serve. And if you would allow, is it John or Robert, which is going to come? I'll come up with Please, both of you. I mean, John looks so nice in his Class A jacket. We need, I particularly want them to highlight the last part, because this is the payoff for the citizens.
Our current software, Firehouse, and with a name like Firehouse, you would think that would be the go-to company, but they have really fallen short in the last few years. They're barely meeting our current needs and not expected to meet our needs after 2014. Their technical support is often hard to obtain, and our IT people find them difficult to work with. The state is going to the national standards, the V3 standards coming in 2015, and Firehouse software is totally ill-prepared to handle that. I think that we've worked a whole lot harder at trying to remain a good customer with Firehouse than they have at trying to keep us as a customer. ImageTrend has the state of Virginia contract for EMS records management, and Virginia has secured reduced pricing on behalf of all licensed EMS agencies in the Commonwealth. This program has already been approved for the new standards in 2015 and is currently being used or set up by our surrounding jurisdictions, Newport News, York County, James City County, and Williamsburg. And what we're finding out is it's saving a lot of time at the hospital. Additionally, this system will allow our EMS, fire, and inspection reports to be accessed from the department computers or from our mobile units in the field. Essentially, what our computers are becoming are NDTs, or mobile data terminals. The information will be instantly available to our people in the field, such as hydrant locations, nearest streets, and pre-fire plans. Another benefit to the ImageTrend system is the reduction in time that our staff will spend at the hospital after delivery of a patient. Currently, it takes us about an hour.
An hour for a standard cardiac.
Right. Right, and what we're finding out from those that are using the program is that they're cutting that in half. And that's just like additional personnel to us, because while our personnel are committed at the hospital, they're not here and available for other calls.
Well, like Chief, that also ties the ambulance up and takes it out of service. The
Does
actual
indeed.
machine,
Does indeed.
besides the people.
Absolutely. So we're looking at roughly a 50% reduction in time at the hospital. And with the CAD integration, much of the report will be automatically populated into the report for the technicians. Moving our service to ImageTrend will require an initial startup fee and a yearly maintenance contract. And what we've done is the volunteer fire company and the volunteer rescue squad have both made a pledge to provide us with $5,500 each. It's $11,000 in reduction on the cost. And we've also gotten permission from Department of Fire Programs and from Office of EMS to use the 4 for Life money to go towards the purchase as well, so that we'll have no more out-of-pocket expense than we do right now, but our capabilities will greatly increase. You want to add something?
I think you covered all the points. The real benefit of this new program is that our current program with Firehouse.
Could you say the people at home can hear you?
Sorry, the real benefit that I see with this program is that our current vendor has not continually updated their program to take advantage of the new technology that we've already placed in our units. We have technology in our trucks that's not being utilized, and the ImageTrend program is going to fill that gap and let all of our vehicles talk together, and all of our vehicles will be able to access all of our public safety information instantly anywhere in the field. So all of our staff are going to have access to the same information that Chief Holloway or I would have access to immediately, rather than waiting for administrative staff to upload it to our server and then download it again. So it's going to make our service much more efficient, which is ultimately our goal with these units in this program.
Thank you. I think information is key to being safe as well. So fire protection plans and all that sort of things, especially if the surrounding localities, I'm assuming you'll have some ability to crosstalk between Hampton or Newport News and
Well,
Poquoson.
we currently have.
Mutual aid.
Yeah, we currently are able to talk with them over the
Right.
radios.
And with Image Trend as a regional program, they are currently working on a regional model that we would be able to upload reports from our department to a mutual aid department if they come in to assist.
Exactly.
So we can start the process and they don't have to duplicate it.
Right.
We can send them what we have and vice versa.
Gotcha.
It's not active now, but it is being developed.
Okay.
Because we've all gone to the same system.
Okay. Questions of council?
That's 6720 annual, is that pay-as-you-go, or is that a contract, long-term, or?
That is the cost for year 2, but we will reduce that so that it will cost no more than what we currently have budgeted right now. We'll be able to use the Office of EMS grant money and the aid to locality money.
Okay, and basically what I heard you say was that the volunteer organization is going to help you with this?
They are. I think that's huge because, we all like to buy things that people can see. We like to buy a truck, a widget, something other that people, we can just show them off. But they're making an investment into the department to help citizens, to aid in firefighter safety, and they realize that is the right thing to do.
No, I want to mention that, make sure that everybody understands that may be viewing at home, and that the volunteer department is represented here as well, and we appreciate.
Correct.
As I said in the speech, it's all about you guys working together, and y'all do such a good job.
We have an excellent relationship, absolutely.
And,
But that's
thank
Volunteer
volunteers
Rescue
for that.
Squad as well.
Okay.
Is there a training component to this, Robert, or do people already know
We,
the system?
well, it'll be similar to what we do right now, but there will be a training component to it, yes.
In that figure, there are 6 separate training programs built in so that I can schedule 6 classes to make sure that everybody is trained by the company rather than by us. That's included in that startup fee.
Good.
That way they'll all be consistently taught the same thing.
Anything else? Okay, thank
It's
you
a
all.
win-win situation for all of us.
Thank you. Council, can we move forward on this?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Image Trend Incorporated for a records management system.
Second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve this resolution. Any closing comments or questions? Not, Judy, please.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Vernal.
Aye.
Councilman Ayer.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Again, thank you all very much for coming this evening. I know you probably want to slip out the door, though. I'll give you that permission. Even though they're your Randy's employees.
I'm just glad they're here.
Thank you all.
John
All right.
does look very nice in his jacket.
He does. He does look nice. That's why I wanted him to make sure he spoke to the microphone. The next item under new business is a resolution making appointments to the Colonial Community Criminal Justice Board and Middle Peninsula Juvenile Detention Commission. Somebody prepared to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution making appointments to the Colonial Community Criminal Justice Board and the Middle Peninsula Juvenile Detention Commission by inserting the following names for the Colonial Community Criminal Justice Board: Lieutenant Craig Fahrenholt, David Coe, John Koplinski, and the Honorable Virginia Munoz, and their terms will expire November 30th, 2017. And for the Middle Peninsula Juvenile Detention Commission, the city manager, J. Randall Wheeler, and his term will be at the pleasure of council.
Second.
Do we need to do something with this Thomas Gooding?
Mr. Gooding is already serving. The request is to
So you're the
appoint him
alternate.
to be his alternate.
Alternate.
I think Mr. Gooding has done a fantastic job for our city for years.
Okay.
He's thinking about transitioning off and he suggested having me named, or someone named as the alternate, and what I'm asking this evening is you appoint me as the alternate, let me go with him for a while. I may not be the permanent replacement, but I think I need to understand his responsibilities better in order to recommend a permanent replacement down the road.
Very well. I agree. All right, any questions or comments on those? All right, Judy, please.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Bernal?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Ayer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford?
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, next item under new business is an ordinance making additional appropriations and transfers for fiscal year 2014, 2015. Who we want?
If you'd allow me, sir, the opportunity to briefly summarize this, I would also point out that Teresa Owens is here.
Okay.
If you have questions for her, and I appreciate the fact that she's here as well. Again, this is, in many places, this would be a consent agenda item. We don't do a consent agenda item here because everything's important, and we recognize that we've got a community that may be watching us on TV. For their benefit, I'd like to just briefly talk about what these are, because they talk about stewardship, resourcefulness, partnership. They're reflected in almost every line. First line is a requested carryover from last year of $9,512 in donations made to our public library. The second item is the appropriation of a $30,000 grant, which Fire and Rescue took the lead in preparing with CERT, and it supports CERT, which is the Citizens Emergency Response Team. The third bullet is monies that we have not yet spent that came to us from the state for Four for Life and the Fire Fund. We marshal these things, and we only spend them, we wait for bang for our buck. These are our monies that come to us from the state. The next item, several smaller items, the state and federal asset forfeitures. This is in part a recouping some of our expenses pertaining to the work that we do in a lot of areas, most specifically as part of the Regional Drug Task Force. The next item is a $6,300 grant for environmental quality, and we use it to help with recycling and cleanup programs. The next item is a small grant the police department received from DMV with regard to alcohol safety. The next item is an even smaller grant, also police department, about $1,000, a burn grant through the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Service for equipment. We received a grant award for $7,500 to assist us with our hazardous mitigation plan update. And here's one I'm particularly proud of, even though it's the smallest one on the list, a $475 appropriation of donations to Kids Island Project. As you know, we've been working on that project for years. We do it cooperatively with the community, and since the time that we worked together to reestablish it, we've grown it a little bit each year. And it's grown in part because of the hard work of the Kids Island Committee and the young people from the high school that help them. And then whatever they raise, Tom Jones has been terrific in identifying whatever was left financially to make the next thing possible. And if you've been out there in the last few weeks, you've seen the new monkey bars that are there. Each year we try to add something. I would note for you in your package is a letter from Superintendent of School requesting reappropriation of carryover in the amount of $25,245 for the purposes noted in her letter. The next item is the periodic reappropriation of capital projects. You know, they only stay on your books for so many years before they have to be reappropriated. The next item is the appropriation of the proceeds of the sale of the Cove Road property that you recently approved. We are proposing to put it in the Capital Projects Fund for Massac Point improvements. We're not going to spend that until we've got some direction from you on where you want to spend it, but we'd like to put it there, and we think that's a logical nexus. And in fact, you may recall from the prior meeting, we suggested a possible use for it as a grant match in the future. But this would put it there, make it available for that or any other purpose that you thought was appropriate. Mr. Holloway, Chief Holloway talked about the donation from Poquoson Volunteer Rescue Squad and Volunteer Fire Department to help us with the software program. You'll see that reflected as the second to last bullet. And then additional appropriation from the fire department, from the volunteer fire department for $2,500. If you look, the pervasive theme is partnership, community partnership, efficiency, and grant management. There is nothing on there that is some sort of unanticipated bad news that we suddenly got to fix.
Now, this is all good news. Okay. Thank you, Randy, and I think that was well done, so that people have a clear understanding of what we do. All right, is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt an ordinance making additional appropriations and transfers for fiscal year 2014-15.
Second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve this ordinance, transferring these funds. Any questions or comments?
I'd like to make a comment. I just want to go on record saying, I intend to vote for this because the vast majority of them are admirable things, but I would like to go on the record officially as saying I think that not just our school system, but our entire country has gotten into a feeling of doing things in the name of safety to where we're spending money in places that would be better spent on personnel. To spend $25,000 to put in equipment, which I'm guessing is the cameras that the lady has to sit at the front of the school and look to make sure that I'm a human. I go to the school, I have to push a button, and they say, "Hi, why are you here?" And I say, "I'm here to pick up my child." And then they let me in, and then I have to show an ID, and we're spending money on personnel who are sitting there doing that. I just think I think the money would be better spent on counselors rather than a camera. If they just let me walk in the door, they could still say, "Hi, why are you here?" So I just needed to go on the record for that. Thank you.
I understand. Okay. Any other further questions or comments?
Can I comment on her comment? It took me years to get that not to be a teacher in her planning period.
Exactly, and it still
And
is.
I am glad
One of
we
the
have a
schools-
person who is a hard employee, just to ask you for your ID, not taking her teacher's planning period.
There's still some
But I
schools
agree
that
with
have
you.
the teachers.
I know, and I agree.
Doing
with
it, and that's not right. They need to be teaching.
Agree. Okay. Anything else?
I share those comments.
Thank you.
All right. Nothing else? Judy, please.
Councilman Ayer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Vernal.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, the next item is a resolution making appointments to the Planning Commission.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution making appointments to the Planning Commission with the following names inserted: Richard D. Clifton, Gustavus Godden, James Titlow, and their terms will expire November 30th, 2018.
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments on the motion or second? If not, Judy, please.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Ayer.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Vernal.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, comments of the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have only three things I'm sure that one of you or many of you are going to talk about tomorrow's ceremony, so I'm not going to bring that one up. But I did want to remind the community that the annual City Christmas Parade is December 5th at 7 o'clock on Wythe Creek Road, and would invite people to be part of it in all the different ways that you can be part of it. It's a great event if you've never been, and it's a great event if you go every year. I had the opportunity on Friday to do a walkthrough on the same day they achieved substantial completion of the regional animal shelter. That is a cooperative project between many communities located in Newport News. And what I learned, in part, was that They plan to do a soft opening, meaning they will be open, but without much fanfare, first week in January. And I walked through the facility, and it's very impressive. And I say that as a guy who used to have on my portfolio a pretty large animal shelter. And then a formal ribbon cutting and a whole week of celebration is planned later in January, and they have not set a specific date for that yet, but they are planning to do it in January.
How about the spring?
They're behind schedule so much, I wouldn't suggest that they wait an extra 15 minutes.
Well, they'll be
I
open.
think it was supposed to be spring, last spring.
And Mr. Mayor, you don't need me to commend you, but I'm going to do it anyway. One of the things that happens when you are the mayor of Poquoson, who serves as the vice chairman of the HTEC Finance Committee, is you never quite know what's going to go on. And I had an opportunity last week to attend the regional public hearing on the HTEC budget, and our mayor found out approximately 30 seconds before that hearing that he was the senior presiding officer and therefore would conduct the hearing. And he did an outstanding job. But I don't believe you anticipated that was going to be the case. And just to show you that was not a one-time event, this morning we attended a joint committee of the Finance Committee and the Advisory Committee, or no, the Technical Committee, only to find out he was the ranking member and would be presiding over that joint meeting. Again, I think on approximately 30 seconds worth of notice.
Felt that.
So if they ever do approve changes to the legislation that allow council members to be named as alternate, I would say, anytime you walk into the room, be ready to chair the meeting. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Randy. Bud, what you got this evening?
Yes, I'd like to make a couple of comments. I'd like to thank Tom and Mark for their efforts in their work session presentations. Thank Ken Somerset for his timely response to the FEMA information to help clarify the height issues on the new structures. And you know, we have a very efficient city staff. We have one engineer, where other cities have entire departments. Our public works employees are small, and they're all hardworking individuals. We have excellent police and fire personnel, but our volunteer fire department and rescue squads continue to amaze me. Here again, they have anteed up money to help improve our fire and safety without costing the citizens of Poquoson more money, okay? And they do that out of the goodness of their heart and their hard work. And I'd like to thank those two organizations for their excellent response.
Thank you. Tracy?
Agreed. There's a long list of stuff that was in our weekly report that I'll mention a few of them, and if others can fill in the rest. Particularly, I wanted to highlight the Fall Leaf Program, which started already.
Yes, ma'am.
And they will be picking up leaves every other Monday until the end of February. Which Monday are we on, is my question. Was it picked up today, or is it next Monday?
I
don't know.
I don't know.
That's what I'd like to make sure we know when to get that on. So if we could just post that on the city website.
It is posted
on the Facebook page to spread it around. That would be good. There's also a Veterans Day ceremony tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., so I hope people will come to that. And congratulations to our football team. We're having a home game at the beginning of the playoffs this Friday, so I look forward to seeing people there.
Great. Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yes, I was going to mention the Veterans Day tomorrow, 11 a.m. here in front of City Hall, sponsored by the American Legion. Also, just wanted to thank everybody for the vote this past Tuesday. And then the third thing is just wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
It was a runaway win.
It
Mr.
was
Vice Mayor. Councilman Vernal?
I think most everything has been recognized this evening, and as we say, a happy Thanksgiving also. It's the heaviest travel holiday of the year, and just everybody be safe.
And thank you, Councilman Green. And welcome back.
Since we do, thank you. Since we don't have a second meeting, this will be the last meeting before the food bank, and the food bank will be Tuesday, the 25th of November, which is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, which is very appropriate. We have requested that they have some form of turkey. We don't know if we'll get that, but hopefully they will. It's from 10 to 1 at the old City Hall facility. And this time, the York Poquoson Social Services is hosting it.
Excellent.
So we appreciate their stepping up to do that, and they totally volunteered to do it.
Thanks, and that's great. Councilman Ayer?
Everyone involved with the state of the city and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting that, the Browns for being the main host there. That was a great evening, and I'm proud of the city for a lot of things, and a lot of things have been mentioned here. The staff, city work, public works, police, fire. And you know all these accolades, like you said, we don't try to go get win those, we win those accolades. And when you leave there and hearing people, and of course myself included, being so impressed with what we've accomplished in this city, and you're hearing people say, well, I didn't know y'all had won that, I didn't know you'd done that. Well, that's exactly why we had the State of the City, so people can realize what we're doing in charity, and her crew, and Dave, and Gretchen, and everyone that played a part in that. And Jean, the speech was just fantastic, and it was right to the point, right down to the slide that shows where the federal government has left us within the school system. But I think it was an eye-opener for a lot of people. That slide included on exactly what we do here in this town. And it's just a tribute to the people that work here and the people that live here. So just a great job.
Okay, thank you. It's an easy city to be the mayor of, and that's the one thing I will tell anybody that is out there. Sometimes there's a little bit more stress because it's hard to be the mayor of a good city, and it's not so hard to be the mayor of a bad one, because you can only go down. So it's kind of like taking over as coach of the Duke basketball team, or if the city attorney had been here, said UVA, but there's no place to go but down, and we all work together, and I appreciate council, and I said that at State of the City. I'm not sure I mentioned it again here this evening, but I appreciate what council does, I appreciate what staff does, I appreciate what our employees do, and most important, I appreciate what our citizens are. And they are great citizens to call that we represent them. With nothing else, I'll close this. We don't have any kind of thing, so motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, Judy, please.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Bernal.
Aye.
Councilman Ayer.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
We are adjourned.